thank you for coming tonight. I've got questions, things that aren't being addressed. I hear a lot about how we're going to take over the White House, Obama. What about the physical act of voting itself? I mean, the last two elections, I don't think twice when I say I really believe the last two elections were totally rigged. What about getting rid of the delegate system popular vote, or won the popular vote? So most of the people in the United States wanted him as president. Also, you know, machines, not having a paper trail. What happened in Ohio was a disgrace. You know, people in poor neighborhoods, they're black. They had to wait 8 hours online to vote. It took me 20 minutes to go cast a vote downtown Chicago. What's being done to secure the physical act of voting? Because I'm embarrassed by it in this country. We're telling everyone else how to vote. Look at the last two elections here.
Yeah. I mean, step one was done in 2006, where we targeted 9 Secretary of State offices, partisan Secretary of State offices, including Ohio, and we won all 9 of them. That was key. And this new, you know, Secretary of State of Ohio has been working to add machines and try to stop the systemic disenfranchising of entire communities. 2000 was stolen. 2004 was actually not stolen in the traditional sense. Nobody flipped votes on a machine in 2004. What they did, though, is they systematically disenfranchised tens and hundreds of thousands of people across the country by wrongly putting them on felon lists, right? So they weren't allowed to vote, or challenging their right to vote or their residency or whatnot. And like you said, you know, you have these urban districts in precincts in Cleveland where you have 1 or 2 working machines, and then you go out to the suburbs and then you have 20 for 20 people who show up that day, right? So there was a systemic effort to disenfranchise people. So they didn't seal the election in the traditional sense, where they kind of flip votes, but they kept our people from voting. And that may or may not have made a difference, I don't know, but it certainly went a long way towards padding George Bush's popular vote lead. So, I mean, that first step was getting rid of those Secretary of States, those Republican Secretary of States that disenfranchised so many, and we were very, very successful. So it's going to be a lot more difficult this year for them to pull that stuff off, because we have gotten better at running and controlling those offices that make those decisions. So it'll be okay. But you know, at the end of the day, we can't really run our politics in sort of the way the Democrats ran the last 2 ones. We're going to get 50% plus 1 of the electoral votes, right? And well, if we get this 2 or 3 states, the rest of the country can go to hell. We're going to focus on these 1, 2, 3 states, and that's how we're going to win this. And of course, Republicans just sort of focus on those 1, 2, 3 states, and you have this big battle royale from Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and 100,000 votes makes a difference, right? I mean, that's what the last election hinged on in Ohio. 100,000 votes, 50,000 vote swing. Kerry would have been president. We can't run elections like that. And that's the way that Hillary Clinton was running her campaign, insulting every state. Well, we're not going to win that red state. We're not going to win North Carolina. We're not going to win Nebraska. And that's one reason that I became a pretty hardcore Barack Obama partisan, because it matters that we need to fly our flag in all 50 states. We need to empower Democrats everywhere, because it matters not just at the presidential level, but it clearly also matters at the House and the Senate level and at the local level. And to me, the example is let's look at Utah, or Idaho. I just spoke at Idaho. And Democrats are not going to win Idaho. Barack Obama will not win Idaho. Idaho gave Barack Obama the biggest margin of victory in the primary. We're very proud of this. They were really worried that Hawaii was going to beat them up, and they kept it. This is what they got. You know, we're Idaho. What else do we have as Democrats? And but they know that. But we have a highly contested House race, and we have a fairly contested Senate race, potentially contested Senate race in Idaho. In the last round of polling in Idaho, Hillary Clinton lost Idaho by 38 points. Barack Obama lost it by 15. Now, okay, he loses by 15. The Clinton people will say, well, he still loses by a lot. But if you're that Senate candidate, and you're that House candidate, overcoming 15 points is actually doable. Overcoming 38 is an act of futility. So this stuff, this is why national focus. And if you truly run a national campaign and we work to get every vote everywhere in every state, then you don't have the situation where 100,000 votes here, 50,000 votes there can actually swing an election. We can actually win this thing outright with enough of a majority that it overcomes any Republican shenanigans.